deal with that later. Private jewels, Brian and you will deal with that later. Private commentator and commentsman, Brian and you will deal with that later. Private commentator and commentsman, Brian and you will deal with that later. Private commentator and commentsman, Brian and you will deal with that later. Private commentator and commentsman, playing a great role, of course, is Donald Albert, and ultimate middle, great role information on the toss. Albert, from an ultimate middle, let's go to the information on the toss. Albert, from an ultimate middle, let's go to the information.
Glorious morning to everybody.
Let's go to the information.
Glorious morning to everybody.
Let's go to the information.
Glorious morning to everybody. Heads, the match referee says it's tail. So DESRUISSEAUX heads has won the toss. It's tail. DESRUISSEAUX heads has won the toss. It's tail. The last game, DESRUISSEAUX heads has won the toss. It's tail. The last game, DESRUISSEAUX heads has won the toss. It's tail. The last game, DESRUISSEAUX heads has won the toss. It's tail. The last game, DESRUISSEAUX heads has won the toss. It's tail. The last game, DESRUISSEAUX heads has won the toss. It's tail. The last game, DESRUISSEAUX heads has won the toss. It's tail. The last game, DESRUISSEAUX heads has won the toss. It's tail. The last game, DESRUISSEAUX heads has won the toss. It's tail. The last game, DESRUISSEAUX heads has won the toss. Kevin, let me wish you all the best in your game. In the comes out, whichever way you want it, which would be victorious. Prince, that was the captain of the Invictus team, Kevin. Al, Prince, beautiful conditions today. Yesterday you played on this very same pitch. I don't know if you wanted to watch today. You played in this very defending with going out there. I don't know bowling at the Invictus. What one you have won the toss? Going out there at the any changes in your team for the day?
Yeah, we have 2 changes. We have T10 is out.
Any changes in your team for the day?
Yeah, we have 2 changes. We have T10 is out.
Any changes in the game for the day?
Yeah, we have 2 changes. We have T10 is out.
Very tight with any changes in the game for the day?
We have 2 changes. We have
very tight with any changes in the game for the day?
We have 2 changes.
very tight with any changes in the game for the day?
paid. So first of all, So Smith comes down the leg side. So Smith comes down the leg side. So Smith comes down the leg side. Wides and also so Smith in the side. Wides will start right now. In the side goes in. And there's no appeal right now. It came back, there's no appeal right now. It came back, there's no appeal right now. I'm very impressed. It came back, there's no appeal right now. I'm very impressed. It came back, there's no appeal right now. I'm very impressed. It came back, there's no appeal right now. And it can't move along. It's outside leg stump. It can't move along. It's outside leg stump. It can't move along. It's outside leg stump. Bending at your knees and pushing too hard. Bending at your knees and pushing too hard. Bending at your knees here. Already working on this ground. You can see the square in the middle where they will put the pitch outside the off stop. A much better delivery. The square in the middle where they will 8 without loss. Just a few spectators yesterday, but we expect maybe more today. It's a Sunday, and pictures are going all over Lucia, so people can have maybe a lunch and come on to the Darren Sammy. Smith goes in, and that's down the leg side, and I don't know if he got the glove to that. That probably will go into the rope below. Goes in. Microphone more run, wastes the delivery. I don't know if he got the glove to that without loss. Into the rope below. And Smith having difficulty with his control.
Really making a meal of this over. Smith can't get the radar right, and he really extras a shot up to 12 already, and Smith really would need to do something differently to tighten up for his team review for readers. Need to do something.
So 13 on the board. I think Roland Cox will have to advance those stats we're requesting. So because they're coming up fast and furious. He goes around the wicket now and gets a better line. Maybe that was the answer. He goes around the wicket forced down towards and Milan, so something off the bat was the answer. Something off the bat which towards Milan, some kind of famous name. I did have the pleasure and honor of meeting Sir Larry, kind of famous name, and his father and himself played in a first-class game for Trinidad against British Guyana. Father and son. Smith in a first-class game for Trinidad against British off the front foot, beautiful diving stop. No, he didn't fall away. He really dived at it. Excellent work. Beautiful. Really lifts the ball a bit when something could have gone down to backward point for 4. But a committed effort there by the backward point. Total remains in 15 without loss.
Very good effort there from the fielder at the backward point, diving to his right and making a fantastic stop.
Last delivery, if it is legal, it is not legal. It's a wide outside the line of the off stump. And the total inches up to 16 without loss. I remember hearing an interview with with John Ollett on Larry Constantine. And what a marvelous fieldsman he was. Very athletic, taking all kinds of catches. You see, he had rhythm the way how he will move. And hard working Australia. Smith mops his brow as he comes in from the far end. And that's a better delivery. You have a nice little bit of lift. The batsman beaten by the lift outside the off stump, trying to force it away. So we have had 2 overs bowled. The first by Sexius conceding 2. Smith wouldn't be happy with none for 14 off 1. Will he come back for a second?
I'm sure Captain Al Prince would have to rethink his strategy here and might decide to hold Smith back for a little later. He's given off a 14 and quite a number of that coming from extras. So he really needed to get the radar right. And Sexius will continue, and he had it right. So Smith would like to take a page from his book.
There's a solitary slip. Sexius goes in, and that's flicked away, but hit outside the line of the leg stump. An attempted flick away, made no contact. Cricket upcoming in Trinidad. We saw the fixtures yesterday. They will play white ball cricket in Port of Spain. It will then go on to Florida, I think. West Indies and in the board agreeing to play in Florida, where there's a good market. Delivery, which is again hitting outside the line of the leg stump, and they'll take a leg by. The line is not great, but just can't get bat onto ball. You get it onto backward square. 17 without loss. And Bangladesh will come out, play in Antigua in the middle of June, then here on the 24th in St. Lucia, and then they go to Dominica, elsewhere for white ball cricket. It's white ball cricket here. That's slow delivery, well played. Coming forward early, had to make the adjustment. It goes back to the bowler. When it works, it really looks good.
It looks really good. Bang on target again from Sexius, and he's in the middle of a really, really good spell. He's bowled 1.3 overs, none for 2, just 2 runs coming off his bowling.
So Mitchell is 2, Constantine is 1. The extras, as you've been told, is plenty. He goes out the back foot and gets a delivery that keeps it a little low. I'll give him credit for facing that. Extras of 14. Not very often you see extras playing such a demanding role so early.
Yeah, extras are really having the authority. The greater part of this total belongs to them, so extras having a good day here.
So Smith, 1.4 overs, none for 2. Sexius, 1.4 overs, none for 2. That's a delivery that is down towards fine leg. And let's wait. I didn't see a signal.
Came off the inside portion of the bat and head down towards fine leg. The fielder at a short fine leg had a diving effort to his right and made a good stop as well. 18
without loss. Ryan O'Brien will be replacing yours truly after 5 overs. And there'll be a shift in the Cummins position also. That's hit away nicely out towards a deep mid-wicket. Pitched up outside the leg stump, exactly where you wanted if you're strong on the onside. But he didn't maybe get enough in it and didn't have the placement. It went straight to the fieldsman. The end of this 3rd over, after 3 overs there, a 19 for 1. Let's tell you that DESRUISSEAUX won the toss. Happy that there's no loss of wickets, but not happy with the rate of scoring.
Not many coming off the bat. They've been given some assistance from the extras column, but the DESRUISSEAUX Invictus team struggling to get it out of the bat into the gaps and out towards the boundaries. So they really need to pick that up if they want to have a competitive total in the end.
So, will there be a bowling change? And it looks like there will be a bowling change. So Smith replaced by Moses, as we more or less hinted or predicted. And Moses just measuring his run. It looks a medium length run. So Constantine is 2 of 4, Mitchell is 3 of 14. And the total is 19 without loss. Good evening to all. Well, it's early evening, it's late afternoon in India. And well, it's a beautiful day in St. Lucia, and I hope elsewhere in the Caribbean. And St. Lucia, of course, everyone hoping that there can be a couple of showers in a measured way. We wouldn't want it to affect the cricket. So Moses moving in. He's brought into the attack, and his line is outside the off stump. The batsman is almost dismissing himself, and eventually umpire Louisi gives the decision, but I always feel that the umpire should give the decision and not wait for the batsman to decide whether he had a touch or not. So 19 for 1, and straight away Moses has come up with the goods.
And that he's bowled a good length outside of stump, a good lifting delivery out towards the keeper, and the batsman can only succeed in giving a very faint edge to the wicket keeper here. But I'm agreeing with you, Reds, on the point that you're making. The umpire has a job to do, and he should, once he believes that the batsman is out, he should raise that finger, because the batsman stayed around and was waiting for that decision from him.
And when it happens in the way you just described and the way we saw, it looks as if it's an afterthought.
Correct. It presents a lot of doubt in everybody's mind there. And the umpire should have raised the finger. The batsman was not walking, clearly, and he should have raised the finger there.
There's no doubt in Roland Cork's mind. He's already got it. 19 for 1, 3.1. And new batsman taking guard. Yes, Augustine. Delivery which is driven but straight down to a short mid-off and picked up very easily. 19 for 1. We're in to over number 4. I think yesterday we had a score which went past the 100 mark.
Certainly, Babunu took it well past the 100, 123.
Moses in once more. And, well, that took the off stump. I followed the keeper, took the off stump, and didn't last very long indeed. So all of a sudden, there is so just under the cochere, and now 19 for 2. Again, the good line being maintained by Moses.
A good line, some good pace being generated also from Moses, and he's bang on target and getting the captain of the DESRUISSEAUX INVICTUS team back to the hut. We've seen the procession. DESRUISSEAUX in the previous game lost wicket in clusters, and it seems to be starting right here again.
Well, sometimes the top order don't quite produce it. They must be hoping that the middle order will, but they'll need some solid batting by the middle order to get anywhere a competitive total at 19 for 2 of 3.3. So, new batsman just coming in. It's really a lovely day. Scoreboard on the far side working, and as we look around the Beauchamp area, we can see more houses coming up. There's a lovely pink house with nice foliage planted around it. That great if our cameras can be put on that. Light pink, but right now we are focusing on the score being 19 for 2. 19 for 2.
And the DESRUISSEAUX INVICTUS, they've done a lot better than they did in the previous game. After 3, they were 20 for 4. So today they are just at 19 for 2. They've lost 2 fewer wickets there.
They can't be happy with the start. And if they want to qualify, they have to start putting runs on the board. So, delivery, which just seeming to get outside the leg stump to play it. And he played a little defensive shot. So still 19 for 2. Know much about a new batsman? Seen him before?
Not, well, I've seen him in the first game, but he did not stay long enough for me to make a determination about him at all. In Dorilio, he came in and went straight out. But today, out of the 2 deliveries he's faced, he's been able to keep out a very good Yorker from Moses.
Oh, Dorilio pulling away. Ball signaled dead by the umpire. Sometimes it's touch and go, where the umpires will allow someone to all of a sudden pull away. It's a debate sometimes, but in the meantime, Moses is back to his mark. Dorilio settles Moses, coming very quickly and very athletic. And again, we see him getting outside the leg stump, as if he's not happy with the pace, or he's trying to get onside.
He looks very uncomfortable with the pace, and he's also trying to get onside of the ball. We've seen him getting outside of leg stump, pushing one into the cover region, and this time he's getting outside of leg stump and playing one defensively again, but he does not look very comfortable out there.
Lovely day, good batting conditions, but a drought of runs, 19 for 2 off 3.5. Moses bowls, and not backing away on that occasion. Came forward, played with a little more confidence and a little more, well, feeling that you should get onto the front foot. That's the end of the 4th over.
Double wicket maiden from Moses. A double wicket maiden. Very good over from Moses.
Excellent. Maybe the best figures in the tournament so far. But it's early days. There's so many days to come where, you know, we can't really say that will be. It's just an excellent figure today. So 4 overs have gone. The power play has been completed. Field can be adjusted. And we have another bowling change from the commentary box end.
Kurt Edward coming in, season campaigner Kurt Edward. We remember him from yesterday. He got a nice little cameo to win the game for his team. So Kurt Edward, he's been around cricket. He's played national youth cricket as well. So we expect him to keep the pressure on as Moses has started it.
Certainly I can remember last competition, he was impressive with the bat, played some beautiful shots. Yeah. Well, of course, whispering, he got a half century, and he had a good tournament. Nice, muscular, slow approach, little back of a length, whipped away down towards third man, maybe hoping it would have gone squarer, but need to get it in the middle of the bat. But 20 for 2. 4.1 over. Ryan O'Brien will be your next commentator. The weather is good. Let's hope it remains. And I think Vasco must be congratulated for producing what they promised. High elevation, had to wait a little longer. 20 for 2. And Edwards from commentary box and once more goes in to the relay, and he hits that and well stopped. Hit it with some power. Ball pitched up. Edwards appreciating the efforts from the cover fieldsman, and the total going up to 21. We have seen a couple of good bits of fielding so far.
A very, very good bit of fielding there from the cover fieldsman. It looks like Richie Roberts, and the bowler would appreciate that because he, on this occasion, went too far up, a bit too full, and the batsman played a good shot into the region. The fielder backed him up nicely.
And straight away, because of that shot, the cover has gone right back almost on the rope. 21 for 2. Big football game today in the UK, but Newcastle at home to Manchester City. Spurs almost surprising Liverpool yesterday. It was a 1-1 draw. So the race becoming tighter and tighter. Edwards about to arrive. Bowls back of a length and doesn't really carry. So not a lot of pace there. He got good height, but really didn't carry into the midriff. England may be announcing their squad fairly soon. New Zealand announcing 20, but they have players in India with the IPL. With Hetmeyer returning home today to Guyana because the birth of his child upcoming. Edwards bowls. That's whipped away out towards cover and just going over his head. Now, time and time again, as the signal is signaled by umpire Morris, if you're back on the rope, you have a better chance than being 5 or steps within. Score rushing up to 25 without loss. Missed opportunity.
It's certainly a missed opportunity. A big shot there by Mitchell as well. It might have been the first shot in anger that we would have seen from Mitchell. And this time he makes contact, but the fielder was not on the rope where he should have been.
You see it at the highest level, at the highest test level you see it. Edwards bowls once more, and that almost coming off the back of the bat as he swung around towards square leg, made a little bit of height. He's got good shoulders. And
this one really came off the helmet or the grill, maybe the shoulder, but somewhere up there. It was a short delivery, and he was looking to pull this one out towards the deep square leg and not making contact, and the ball hitting him and going through to a short third man area.
So Dorilu 1 is in strike. Mitchell is 8, 2 for 26, 4.1 overs. Delivery which the batsman is just making room, maybe just to run it past the keeper, but it bowled with a little bit more pace. Pace on, as they say, and it goes through the keeper. 26 for 2. We've had 5 overs bowled. More from you, and then for the first time this morning, Ryan O'Brien.
Yes, we've seen Dorilu really moving away to the leg side, trying to get onside and remain onside of the ball and working. Accessing the offside is Dorilu, but on this last occasion he did not make any contact. DESRUISSEAUX Invictus, after some 5 overs, they are 26 for 2. In the previous encounter, after 5 overs, they were 27 for 6. So that represents a little bit of an improvement as we're about to say hello to Ryan O'Brien for the first time today.
Yes, good morning, Clivers. Good morning to all our viewers, and like say happy Mother's Day to your mom as well, and to all the wonderful mothers out there following this game. It's actually game number 5 in the qualifying playoff in the 2022 Dream 11 St. Lucia T10 Blast. We've seen the start of another over. This one is played up to the wideish mid-wicket region. A man having to come off the long-on boundary. So they're just coming back for the second run. So Rick Moses continuing from the southern end, and he's certainly bowled well, Clivers. We're just seeing this 1 run coming off his previous over, 2 runs and 2 wickets. So he's definitely been in good form today. This one's a delivery that's short of a good length, good carry through to the wicket keeper. And we must say that the Vieux North team, they've shown a lot of good energy in the field from what we've seen so far in this competition.
They've been excellent in the field. You see them diving around, not sacrificing their bodies, and they're backing up their bowlers very, very well. Even when they falter in length or line, the fielders are backing them up very nicely.
So it's Garvey Mitchell, who's on 10, and this one is whipped just forward of the square leg position. The fielder just moving to his right. Kurt Edward, he can't prevent the single. So Mitchell up to 11, 29 now for 2. Dorilu, who is on 1, is going to come into strike. So we've had the wickets falling today. Constantine for 2, and Kevin Augustine played a terrible shot when he was caught without scoring. This one is hit down to the long off region, goes all the way. Leo Louise with arms outstretched. So Moses, on this occasion, guilty of being too far up, and Dorilu finding the middle of the bat and getting that one all the way over to the long off boundary.
Dorilu got the elevation and got the distance on this occasion, and we've seen Dorilu clearing his front leg and trying to access that offside, and on this occasion Moses was too far up.
So the There is a keeper getting some runs for his team. This one is played just back with the square in the off. A good diving stop there and preventing any further runs. And certainly the feeling from the VIEUX North team continuing to be of a very high standard.
And Dexter Solomon just again going to ground and making a good stop again, as we can't overemphasize how good the feeling from the VIEUX North Raiders have been so far.
So it's Moses, he's turned at his mark. One more delivery in the second over. This one is pitched up, is driven down to the long off region. The field is coming quickly off the boundary and hustles a return way back up to the top to the keeper. One bounce into Junior Peter. The over coming to an end, so the DESRUISSEAUX INVICTUS.
For people just like you. For Republic Bank, that reason is you. It's all about making a difference in your life. Because after 182 years, if it's one thing we're sure about, is that the difference is you.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
After some extras in the early goings, the VIEUX North Raiders showing a lot of character in the field.
Yes, definitely. And we noticed in the last over ball by Kurt Edward, Richie Roberts, a brilliant stop at the extra cover. Then he was sent down to the boundary rope and paid the price for not being on the rope and allowing that ball to go over his head and the possibility of a catch not taken. But it's Edwards going to continue. He's going to bowl over number 7 from the northern end. His delivery shot is back and finding that man coming off the deep extra cover boundary sweeping. There's an easy single and that's one more, 38 for 2.
Yes, Kurt Edward again, 38 for 2. DESRUISSEAUX Invictus, Kurt Edward. He's not a bad line, not a bad length outside of some, but you see the Invictus batsmen really looking to access the offside and clear the front leg a lot.
Kurt Edward once more. This one is short and is really looking to take evasive action. We'll have to see what's going on. Maybe Kurt Edward looking to umpire Morrison said the batsman not playing a shot. Will he signal? Yes, he now signals 4 runs. He seemed to have been taking evasive action, Dorilu, and just off the bat, it would appear, and getting the boundary. So quite an interesting position for the umpire to make a decision as to where that one really came off.
Yes, that ball, Kurt Edward saw Dorilu moving to leg and followed him with that delivery, lifting delivery as well, and it came off the bat. So I'm not sure that the umpire had much of a choice on this occasion. Came off the glove, and Dorilu getting 4. He moves into double figures as well.
Well, they'll need to get some runs. They won the toss and decided to bat. They've got to make use of this track, and the batsman will be just with a very peculiar technique, moving away to leg a bit and maybe getting too far outside of the line of the ball and just going through to the keeper there on that occasion. So Junior Peter, the man behind the stumps, a pretty good day with the gloves today. And Kurt Edward continuing to see if he can get another wicket here for the VIEUX North Raiders. And certainly the man of the match yesterday would be quite confident.
Confidence, of course, he would be taking that confidence from yesterday into today, and he's bowled really well. He's in the middle of a good spell. He's bowled 1.3 and none for 11, so it's exactly what the captain would have wanted. But the captain, Al Prince, now is again making some adjustment to his field.
Dorilu is on strike. He's really picked it up a bit, 12 from 9 balls. That's good, Edward, right now. Over the wicket, a delivery that really slipped out of his hand, called wide now by umpire Francis Morris. Definitely eluded the firm grip by Edward, the first that we've seen that really bobbled out of the hand of the bowler so far in the 2 games that I've seen so far in the competition. So he will still have to pay the penalty by conceding the extra, and certainly extras have played a great part in this competition so far at the preliminary stage of the 2020 Dream 11 St. Lucia T10 Blast. This one is again seeing the batsman trying to move well outside of the line of the ball and actually coming off his thigh and getting the leg by. So not the prettiest of looking of batsmen, Cliver's Juice.
Maybe that's a strategy for Doriley. Then again, he's moving to like Kurt Edward. The wily Kurt Edward saw him and followed him again. This time it came off the 5 pad and he's able to get a leg back.
It's Mitchell who's back on strike. He's on 13. 44 for 2. Waits on Edwards on the shot. He's looking to pull, and this time he's struck on the face. Maybe it's just between the area. Again, poor technique being showed by the DESRUISSEAUX batsman. He didn't get inside or outside of the line of the ball. Stood directly in line, and it came off somewhere in the helmet. He'll get some attention, but he's on his feet. But you would never like to see our players getting hit in the game.
Yes, certainly, and he might have to do the mandatory concussion test. And we see some assistance coming out. His reaction showed that he definitely was in some kind of discomfort. Is Mitchell, and immediately he started heading towards the dressing room. So that might be, he'll need some attention for sure.
Yeah, I don't think that'll inspire too much confidence in Doriley to now start to get in line or to really, get himself in a proper position. It was really a case of just not picking up the line properly, standing and swinging. He didn't get inside or outside of the line to play the shot. And Kurt Edwards is very deceptive in his pace. He doesn't really seem to have that sort of pace, but every now and again, he would really send a really heavy ball on you. And I think in that occasion, Mitchell found that, it was much quicker than he had anticipated.
Edward's been following, he's been watching the batsmen, and he's been following them very closely.
There's a reason you get up on a morning. A reason you pick yourself up. Start the day. Maybe it's because you know people like you are waiting for people just like you. For Republic Bank, that reason is you. It's all about making a difference in your life. Because after 182 years, if it's one thing we're sure about, is that the difference is you.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
So Kurt Edward has maybe gotten the opening batsman to force to retire. We've got another change in the field. So it's going to be Stefan Dupre, the left-handed batsman, who's going to face his final delivery of the over. This one time he's looking to swing. Again, not getting anywhere close to that one. Just standing, no real movement of the feet. And the over from Kurt Edward coming to an end. He's bowled his quarter. 2 overs, no maidens, and none for 12. And maybe just pulling things back a bit. And with the advent of 2 relatively new batsmen to the crease, the man Derillo on 12, and Dupre just facing 1 delivery, 44 for 2. Cliver's Juice, 7 overs gone. It's going to be another really tough battle for DESRUISSEAUX here today.
And DESRUISSEAUX is in a battle to overhaul the 58 that they got in the first match, and it's going to take some getting for them. They're very, very slow going. The actual scoring rate is only 6.29 per over. So DESRUISSEAUX, if they would get a respectable total, they would really need to get a move on to get that respectable total.
So Richie Roberts, who we saw did come in a bit late in the innings yesterday, and is also being used by Al Prince in that mode today. And he's quite unassuming as well. He looks innocuous in his approach, but he's a very experienced player and good control. And let's see if he can turn in another good performance here today. So Richie Roberts being introduced from the southern end, and he's going to be bowling to Doriley. So we had Gavi Mitchell to retired, not out on 13. This delivery starting off being wide, not taken by the keeper. Ernest Sexius beaten in the chase, and 4 wides now being signaled by umpire Leo. So not a good start by Richie Roberts, and 4 runs in terms of extras, 4 wides conceded.
Richie Roberts again now, he did not on this first delivery exercise the same kind of control we saw from him. And this 5 extra runs added there, 49 for the DESRUISSEAUX Invictus team.
Next delivery to Doriley. Just played on the onside. Doriley, the keeper for the DESRUISSEAUX Invictus. This one is short. He's pulling the man off the backward square boundary, coming off, and they're a bit lax in their running. Maybe quicker running could have really forced 2 runs, the Clivers.
Yeah, no intent in that running, just a jog with a single where they could have put some pressure on the fielders.
Well, a 50 coming up in 51 deliveries, 42 minutes, 2 fours and 1 6.
The boundaries have all but have dried up here for the Invictus team, so they really need to get some boundaries to give some impetus to their innings.
Stephon Dupree, the left-hander, is coming to take stride from Rich Roberts for the first time. He's just faced 1 delivery, not yet off the mark. So Roberts is going to come around the wicket to the left-handed batsman. He's again looking to swing, and his ball, it would seem, yes, he is swinging at that one. Didn't really get into a position that would have brought him close enough to the delivery. So Richie Roberts getting amongst the wickets, picking up the wicket of Dupree, who goes bold without scoring, and DESRUISSEAUX INVICTUS 50 for the loss of 3 now, Clivers Jews, and it seems like they're going to be very much pressured to even get 70 runs on the board.
70 looks a good long way away for the DESRUISSEAUX INVICTUS team, with 3 wickets going on. Stephon Dupree is gone, and that brings Kennedy to the wicket.
So what a situation for the Invictus team, and one would have anticipated winning the toss, that they might have, been in a much more confident mood, having seen the low score they got in the previous game, and it was really a bold decision to bat first.
Certainly, you would think that they would really try to give the bowlers something to try and work to, but the Captain Augustine felt that he needed to set runs again.
This one is delivery that's played up on the offside. So Langelier, the new batsman coming in, Ryan Langelier. This delivery is looking to push into the offside and can't get past the burly figure of Al Prince, the Vieux North captain. This next delivery is played back up the track. So Richie Roberts with some success in that over, and he's picked up his first wicket, and that coming in his first over, his figures 1 for 6, and we've now got 8 overs completed. Clivers Jules 50 for 3, definitely not a target to be set for a team like VIEUX North, who have been on the rampage so far.
Yes, with the batting lineup that the VIEUX North Raiders have, 50 for 3 at this point would really seem inadequate, and we would hope that in the remaining 12 deliveries that the Invictus team could really get some impetus in the innings.
Well, they were definitely very impressive, and I found that in all the teams they look very energetic out in the field. The movement to the ball, their positioning, and Al Prince has really marshaled his force as well, and the bowlers have really backed him up. We only saw that today Smith was very expensive when he bowled. It was his second over of the game, but don't know if what was the issue with him today. But he gave away a number of extras. So it's Dexter Solomon who will take it up from the northern end, comes in, maybe noticed that the batsman was not ready, Dorelu, and the dead ball now being signaled by umpire Francis Morris. So the umpires was very brightly colored, neon colored green. Both end Francis Morris at the presiding end, square leg Leo Luisi. And Solomon's a delivery that's well pitched up, and we see Dorelu again looking awkward, looking to hoik a ball from just outside the off-stump, somewhere to the onside, doesn't make contact, and maybe a little dip as well in that delivery from Solomon.
Solomon again that line outside off-stump to Dorelu.
So this delivery again getting back, very unusual technique, and for a right-hander, very strange mannerism, because when he's actually going for his runs, the bat switches to the right hand. Normally the batsman would have run with the bat in his left hand. So he looks a bit awkward out there, but he's so far been able to resist what's going on, resist the onslaught of the VIEUX North Raiders, and he's got 14 runs to his name. He's top scored so far.
And he's gotten that at the strike rate of 100.
Yes, the runner ball. Quite interesting. Langelier into strike. Solomon is well up and well struck as well. The long on and the long off going to be tested. In the end, it goes over for 4. Some footwork by the fielder who has come around from the long on position. A good run there in the end, but the footwork wasn't good enough, and it eventually went over the rope. So Dion Taylor looking to cut that off, but wasn't able to.
And it could have been an issue of communication on the boundary by the two fielders.
So good strike by Langelier there, playing an awkward shot, no ball call on this occasion. Umpire Francis Morris. So he's really swinging for everything now. And the other case where they've got 9 deliveries left in the innings, like was probably a good time to pull out the long handle, but they've got to keep their eyes on the ball.
Certainly have to keep their shape, keep their eyes on the ball, and look to maximize their scoring.
Langelier, 4 from 5 balls as Solomon continues once more. His delivery is well pitched up. Again down to long on. And this occasion is intercepted. And just 1 run in the end.
And Solomon opting for the change of pace as well, and asking Langelier to generate his own pace through the ball, and he's not able to do so successfully, can only get 1 run. And
Curlin Martial moved quite quickly to prevent the second run as well. This one is wide outside the awesome not call, a good way away from the batsman, and again the technique not the best. They're actually moving away further from the ball, moving away from the line of the delivery. It's much more difficult to gain contact that way. Any movement away slightly will beat the outstretched bat, and that was a typical example. They needed to move across a bit to make any contact at delivery. This one is a full delivery. He's coming back. Again, there was Dorilu, and again, just getting the bat down on that one at the last moment. In the end, he's saying, well, it's working for me, so I will continue with it. He's up to 15 and the score to 15.
There's a reason you get up on a morning. A reason you pick yourself up. Start the day. Maybe it's because you know people like you are waiting for people just like you. For Republic Bank, that reason is you. It's all about making a difference in your life. Because after 182 years, if it's one thing we're sure about, is that the difference is you.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
But they haven't been able to get a move on. Dorilu is there on 15, and Langelier is on 5. Dorilu is on strike now.
Richie Roberts continues, and this one is short, and a much better looking shot from him. Got into a good position and pulled it onto the deep mid-wicket region. They got a single, so he moves to 16, and Langelier comes in to strike. He's on 5. Richie Roberts looking for another wicket. This one is well pitched up, down too long on. The fielder just waiting for it well, times it, doesn't rush it, sends a return, 1 bounce back into Roberts. So the VIEUX North team feeling like they've done well to restrict the DESRUISSEAUX INVICTUS team to 60 for loss of try this year. This one is high in the air. Who's going to get it? Al Prince is settling under it. Will he take it? Yes, he does. Good catch by Al Prince. Just settling that, looked a bit clumsy in the end, but he got himself in a decent position, took it, and finally was on his knees. And Al Prince coming up with the catch, and the second wicket to Richie Roberts, and further pressure on the DESRUISSEAUX INVICTUS team. Very disappointing, winning the toss, 60 now for the loss of 4.
Yes, Al Prince, a well-judged catch. He was settled under it, and of course, a lot of surface area to that ball to cover this time. It's 6.
Oh, lovely shot there on that occasion. And as we said, they needed to do that. And Roberts in that occasion pitching well up, and Dudley Dupree getting under it and really pulling that way over the boundary for 6. Or the Langelier on that occasion. So here's Richie Roberts to continue again, and Langelier is looking to get that one again over the deep mid-wicket boundary. Only succeeds in getting it to the field on the boundary all along the ground. Got another.
And just a single from this. Some poor running from from the Invictus team. Very poor running there. He hit that ball out towards deep mid wicket and just came through for a single.
Yes, Clive, as we said, the running haven't been that good, and the batting generally has been disappointing from the DESRUISSEAUX team. This one from Richie Roberts played square into the offside, and the batsman Udley Dupre getting off the mark. Score now up to 62 for the loss of 4.
68, and that's the end of the innings. 68 for 4. It represents a better innings from the Invictus team from their first game by 10, but still one would think still way short of fighting or challenging total.
Yeah, very disappointing.
There's a reason you get up on a morning. A reason you pick yourself up. Start the day. Maybe it's because you know people like you are waiting for people just like you. For Republic Bank, that reason is you. It's all about making a difference in your life. Because after 182 years, if it's one thing we're sure about, is that the difference is you.
Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
Invictus, they're batting again, not coming to mark. 68 for 4 of their 10 overs, and would definitely need a much better performance if they are to really make a mark in this level.
Yes, and if you look at the bowling for the VIEUX North Raiders, Sexius, a great start again from him. 2 overs, 9 dot balls, only 4 runs. He didn't get a wicket today, but he was right on the money for his captain and his team. And Smith, 1 over, he surrendered 14. He really couldn't get it right in that over, and that's why Captain Al Prince only gave him the solitary over. Rick Moses, 2 overs, 2 for 11. He was a little bit of pace about him, Rick Moses, but he was on target as well. Kurt Edward, very miserly 2 overs for him as well, with 7 dot balls, 12 runs. Richie Roberts again came in today and made a big difference with that ball. Richie Roberts, his control, he bowled 2 overs, 6 dot balls, 2 wickets for 16 runs. Richie Roberts, and he bowled in the depth again. So Captain Al Prince is using Richie Roberts in the depth.
Yes, I told you, very unassuming. He's very innocuous in his approach to the stumps, but he's very, very effective. And certainly, you made a very good observation. Ernest Sexius was really magnificent in the start of the bowling innings for the VIEUX North team. He had the control, he had good pace, and he really made runs very, very difficult. Remember, just 1 run coming off his first over.
And he's setting the tone for the rest of the innings for the VIEUX North Raiders, and we saw that yesterday, and we're seeing that again today. Ernest Sexius giving them that start. And then to mention, they're getting some really good support as well from the field.
So we've noticed, Clive, that extras have been playing a substantial role in these innings. It's extras almost double the top score in this one, 23 extras, and the leading batsman got 16, Donald Yu, for the DESRUISSEAUX Invictus. So it really tells that if the teams keep the extras to a minimum, the batting teams could be under a lot more pressure.
That is absolutely spot on, Ryan O'Brien. And then we take a short break now, Ryan, and come back to see the response to the innings.
From the beautiful Helen of the West Indies, the Dream 11 St. Lucia T10 Blast comes to the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground for the 3rd edition. From May the 6th to May 20th, 30 matches, 14 teams, 15 days of high-energy cricket. Can the Choiseul Coal Pops retain their title, or will a new champion be crowned? Support your team. See local heroes such as Johnson Charles, the two-time World Cup winning champion Darren Sammy, and from the Spice Isle, Andre Fletcher. For only $5 and proof of vaccination, you can enter. It's the Dream 11 St. Lucia Blast, 3rd edition, happening at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground from May 6th to May 20th. There's nothing like cricket in the beautiful Isle of St. Lucia.
There's a reason you get up on a morning. A reason you pick yourself up. Start the day. Maybe it's because you know people like you are waiting for people just like you. For Republic Bank, that reason is you. It's all about making a difference in your life. Because after 182 years, if it's one thing we're sure about, is that the difference is you.
Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
I'm Tevin Senja, and winning is my thing. The hardest thing I had to give up was basketball. I had to make the choice, like, if I stay in that, I'll just be here in St. Lucia and maybe have gone to school and maybe gone to my dreams and be an MBA or something, but yeah, I had to give it up to... If I had to meet one mega athlete, it would be probably Michael Jordan. Ego. Reason being is that ego saw the great heights. Cricket. I go watch it, but it's them test one day cricket. That's not for them. But I would drink a lot of sea moss when I come home. And afishi. I don't know if people know what that is, but it's like a cleanse for your body. I was actually listening to him on my way here, doing things my way. My Way, that's one of my favorite songs. Spider-Man all the way. The reason why I say Spider-Man, because Spider-Man was like in my first communion cake. I prefer indoor just because it has more money. I ain't gonna lie to tell you, but for the enjoyment of the sport, I would choose beach. Beach is more exciting. I throw on a good corn pie and some macaroni on a Sunday. You know, the Sunday food type thing. I could do that. But my favorite food to cook is local cuisine, the bouillon. I'm really good at motivating and advising people. I could sing. My baby has been around for me.
From the beautiful Helen of the West Indies, the Dream 11 St. Lucia T10 Blast comes to the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground for the 3rd edition from May the 6th to May 20th. 30 matches, 14 teams, 15 days of high-energy cricket. Can the Schwazel Coal Pops retain their title, or will a new champion be crowned? Support your team. See local heroes such as Johnson Charles, the two-time World Cup winning champion Darren Sammy, and from the Spice Isle, Andre Fletcher. For only $5 and proof of vaccination, you can enter. It's the Dream 11 St. Lucia Blast, 3rd edition, happening at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground from May 6th to May 20th. There's nothing like cricket in the beautiful Isle of St. Lucia.
Schedule yesterday, you were on along with the rest of the panel. Scores in the 90s, 130.
123 coming off there from the 123 was on the board yesterday. So we had some big scores yesterday from the Babanu Leatherbacks with Siobhan Joseph getting in among the runs, Caleb Thomas as well getting some big runs, 40 odd. So we had some big runs yesterday, and today on a very good batting track. One might add, there's no demons in this track here at Darren Sammy Cricket Ground.
Now, this might be a snap question which might be a little hard for you to answer. Babylon was gone through. What's the situation with the other qualifier?
This qualifier has a lot hinging on it because if Vieux North wins it, they will be going through on account of 2 wins. But if DESRUISSEAUX wins it, it'll go to net run rate. And at the moment, it would net run rate with Labrie, 1 win for Labrie. And if DESRUISSEAUX win, they'd have 1. And Vieux North would have 1 win as well. So Labrie looks in good standing if the DESRUISSEAUX team wins it.
Well, that's to bring you up to date on the qualifying segment of the tournament to get into the main draw. The action is about to begin. That's been a grease.
Yes, and Langelier will take up the attack from the commentary box end. Langelier will bowl the first delivery. This one is wide outside. All for the keeper is diving to his left. Umpire Morris says it is within the stipulated marking. The batsman is really having a look at it because he thought it was outside of that guide that's provided there.
Yes, sometimes it's a 50-50 situation. But Langelier seemed to be a bit of an all-rounder. He wasn't too bad with the bat.
Again, he's outside off and bringing the batsman forward. And he's not making any contact. That's Moses. This one goes through again to wicketkeeper Dorillier.
I don't know if they're brothers or they're related, but there's a boxer called Arthur Langelier. He's a heavy middleweight, really. But, you know, many dogs named Pompey, as they say. They might not be related.
Again, Langelier comes in, a good shot there from Moses, but good, equally good bit of fielding there from the fielder at mid-off. And no run result in another dot delivery. The fielders are really backing up the bowling today.
Yes, it's a good-looking drive shot for nothing. But as you said, and the fieldsman had to come across and then check his advance. So a good bit of work done by the mid-off fieldsman.
Good cricket all round. Arthur Langelier comes from the same area. He's from the DESRUISSEAUX Vieux North area, so he could have been related to Ryan Langelier. And Ryan Langelier, full delivery, and this one is in there. It could have been taken. It's a chance that goes begging there by the Moncherry in the short extra cover region.
It seemed to surprise him by coming to him too quickly. It seemed to almost stun him. And it was high to the right shoulder. It wasn't exactly an orthodox position, but a drop catch is a drop catch.
Yes, and this time again, he finds better timing and he goes all the way, Moses, over extra cover. It's a lovely shot from Rick Moses.
Really a typical white ball shot. Slammed over a wide, long off position. Good clean hit. Well, you just put me down, you'll pay the price.
That is correct. And Neil Moncherry would not be happy with what he would have done. His captain, Kevin Augustine, would not be excited. Like, giving him the charge again this time. Same aerial route, and it goes even further. Moses is looking to finish this in a hurry.
Yes, and slightly different directions. He hit it a little wider. Not that there's anybody back on the rope. Clearing the field, so runs all of a sudden on the board. And Moses has given them a flying start. 12 at all lost. They're responding to 68.
It's very, very, very fast start. Moses is out of the blocks like Usain Bolt here. He's hit 12 from his 6 balls. And Captain Kevin Augustine will take up the attack from the players' pavilion end. He really needs to get the brakes on the scoring of the Vieux North Raiders if they are to get any chance of defending 68 here at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground.
Yes. So Let's see what will happen with the second over.
Junior Peter, he comes into strike. He's facing for the first time from the captain, Kevin Augustine, making sure all is in sync. How he wants it is the captain, Kevin Augustine. He has ball in hand, and Junior Peter awaits. Dorilio is asking the slipsman to come in a bit tighter as Augustine moves into Peter outside of stump. He's appealing. He's literally begging, and the umpire says not out.
Good delivery. It had pace, it had lift. He spotted it, and they felt that there was a touch. But I would think that Vieux North need to have very economical over here, because the last one was costing just too much.
They would do well with a double wicket maiden here, because the last over, the hemorrhage boundaries this time, short lifting delivery outside off stump again. Peter looks to pull, not making any contact, and goes through to Dorilio.
Augustine is tall and using his height. Nice run up, and just back of a length. I think the lift he got really maybe affected the batsman putting back the ball.
He's getting some bounce, some carry through to Dorilio. Is Augustine as he comes in, moves into Peter. Augustine again outside of stump. This one is wide and it goes towards the boundary. He goes over the rope now, and the extras will not be helping the cause of the VIEUX North team.
Well,
The
delivery and splitting the keeper and the slip. It didn't carry at all. It dropped well short and went between the gap. So already 17 on the board.
17. Moses is on 12 from these two thumping sixes that he hit, and the extras 5 so far. We're into the second over, and they're charging towards 58 as Augustine charges in again. He's outside off stump, and Peter cannot make any contact. It goes through. Much better comeback delivery from Augustine.
Yes, going a little wider, quicker, within the required area, carried to the keeper. So a good comeback delivery as described.
And Augustine again, he's coming in. He needs to keep Peter quiet outside off, and the lift is really troubling the batsman. He can't seem to get that length away at all.
Yes, on the edge, just into the crease area, looking to clip it away towards maybe a backward point area. So 17 without loss. They really need a couple of dot balls as this over is coming to an end.
Need to finish well here, Kevin Augustine. And to Junior, this one is guiding through, and he beats the diving point fielder. Goal towards the boundary. 4 runs to Junior Peter. Very good shot, using the pace of Augustine on this occasion.
Yes, coming forward and just putting bat to ball, and nicely timed. Ran off the face of the bat, beat the backward point. Good scoring shot. Maybe the best for the day we have seen so far. And more runs on the board.
More runs. This is not looking well for the DESRUISSEAUX Invictus team. 21 without loss. Can Kevin Augustine finish well here? He bowls to Junior, and again he finds that length. The umpire is not happy with how far he is. He signals the wide hair Leo Luisi. 1 more to the total. 22 extras move to 6, and they're charging towards this total.
The total of extra just climbing with each and every over. Just don't have the consistency. As the main draw starts, you might get that.
It's what should be a good drive out towards long off the fielder comes off the boundary. They come through for a single. The score moves on by 1. A good drive again. This time, Kevin brought the ball a little further up to Junior Peter, and he's on the front foot and driving.
Yes.
There's a reason you get up on a morning. A reason you pick yourself up. Start the day. Maybe it's because you know people like you are waiting for people just like you. For Republic Bank, that reason is you. It's all about making a difference in your life. Because after 182 years, if it's one thing we're sure about, is that the difference is you.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Scoring rate, this will be over in a short order.
And they've got one win under the belt.
They have, so they're making it, it's taking their claims for the next, to be in the main draw here, the Vieux North Raiders team. Once they can get past this DESRUISSEAUX INVICTUS, they'll be sitting in the main draw.
Well, they wouldn't want to throw away what is a very good start. 23 without loss, third over starting.
Neil Moncherry comes in and for his first ball, and it's a dot delivery first up, so it's a good ball in that context because no runs came off it.
Hammer it in, getting some good height. The batsman might have been complaining about the height, but umpire Francis Marie's rule that it was legal.
Okay, Moncherry moves into Peter, and Peter pushes this one into the offside. The short mid-wicket comes around, but can't prevent a single, and they move one by one. Peter, he is on 6, Moses on 12. Moses 12 from 6 balls, but really Moses has had only 2 scoring shots, 2 big sixes he hit, and Peter 1-4 from 8 balls. He's on 6.
Well, let's see if this pattern will continue. He's strong over the long off area to something pitched up. Are they going to bowl him back of a length?
The batsman would do well to take your advice and look for back of a length. Anything in his act, he goes and he's going after this one out towards the boundary. It's going over that now. 4 runs to Moses. Moses is matching on here. This delivery was pitched up again, and Moses in his act just swung for the hills.
Yes, it wasn't outside off stump, and this time he changed the line, but it was still pitched up, and he came across the line and hit it quite smoothly through the onside. More runs flowing. And Moses has rushed to 16 off very few balls.
He's 16 from 7 is Moses. Neil Moncherry, let's see his comeback delivery. He moves in to Moses, who's giving him the charge. This one is high up in the air. A man settles under it. It will take some catching. He dances and he drops it. Number 90 here is James. He settled under it, but I guess the wind, so many things could have gone wrong, but he should have taken this one at this level.
Yes, confidence, early days in the season, and if ever they wanted a catch taken, it would have been on that occasion, because they just don't seem to have an answer to be able to stop the onslaught of Moses.
Yes, Moses is really taking the attack to them, and Neil Moncherry should have had a wicket on this occasion, but let's see. He's now moving into Peter, who's on 6. He aborts the run. Peter is not quite ready, and Moncherry goes back to his mark. Moncherry.
Peter 6 off 8, Moses 17 off 8.
And Moncherry comes into Peter, who's playing this one out towards short mid-wicket, and they come through again for another single. And Moses, it brings Moses into strike. He is on 17 from 8. The score is 30 without loss, and we're into the 3rd over.
And Peter doing the right thing, rotating the strike, not soaking up any dot balls, playing a part in this partnership.
Very good batting, good batsmanship being shown here by the 2 Vieux North Raiders batsmen. And this time Moses out towards mid-wicket. Will he? Is it? Yes, it goes over the boundary again. Moses is really charging forward with this chase.
A similar kind of length, which he's very happy with. And as you described, getting it through mid-wicket, ball on about leg stump. So
there's a reason you get up on a morning. A reason you pick yourself up. start the day. Maybe it's because you know people like you are waiting for people just like you. For Republic Bank, that reason is you. It's all about making a difference in your life. Because after 182 years, if it's one thing we're sure about, is that the difference is you.
Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
Well, before we got that victory behind them, but didn't just get enough runs. You've got to be close to 80 or 90 if you want to be competitive, even if your bowlers don't do well.
You definitely need to give the bowlers something to bowl to, and 68 is asking a lot of them here on a wicket that is playing very well. Nice carry, nice bounce here at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground. Very characteristic of the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground wicket as Stefan Dupree comes in to bowl to Peter. A full delivery heading out towards leg stump. A good diving stop from Dorilio. Good work from the keeper Dorilio on this occasion.
Yes, Jeffrey Dujon or Ignatius Cadet would have said well done. And just looking at his run-up, he reminds me of Kimo Paul. You can have a look and judge yourself. Nice, neat approach, kind of, medium fast, seam bowling, but he's got to get it closer to the line of the off stump.
Good approach by young Stefan Dupree. He comes in again and he's generating a bit of pace. Good line, good length, just outside off stump. And Peter can't make any contact on this occasion. A good comeback from Dupree as well. His ball, he was a little bit too straight, heading towards leg stump in the first delivery, but this time he gets the radar right outside off stump.
I don't think that's Peter's role, looking to go too hard. Just push the ball into the gap and give Moses a strike, rotate the strike, which he's been doing. But he probably feels that he needs to get into the scoring act.
And Dupree comes in to Peter, and Peter is looking for that big shot again, and he is missing it. So that goes down well for the DESRUISSEAUX Invictus team, whereas Peter is ill-advised. He could have tried to give Moses, who is really hitting it cleanly this afternoon.
Well, he's suggesting to us, I was batting down the wrong guard. I've changed my guard, but maybe the non-striker could have walked down and suggest, look, just give me back the strike.
And this Stefan settles so far and moves in to Peter. Peter is working this one out towards square leg. They come through for one very quickly for one. They think about the second. They will take the second. It's on, and they get there very easily in the end. The throw comes in, but not before Junior Peter completes his second run, moving the score to 37 without loss. And this is what Peter should have been doing from ball one since Dupree came on.
Exactly. All of a sudden he remembered what is his job in this partnership. I must turn the strike over. I mustn't take up any dot balls. So our man Moses is back in strike.
And Dupree again, Peter, he's in this one out towards long on, and he just come through for a single. Again, a good delivery from a young Stefan Dupree, but not preventing that single from Junior Peter. And Junior Peter moves on into double figures. Now he's on 10 from 13, and Moses is back on strike. He's on 21 from 9. So let's see what Stefan Dupree can serve up to Moses, and if Moses can continue in the same form.
And what will be the line to Moses? Are they going to shorten the line? Because anything pitched up, he's going to go for the big hit.
And he's hitting with the wind, Moses. This one comes out the outside edge and out towards the boundary. Did it? It goes one bounce over the boundary. That's one bounce for. And Moses is continuing to deal in boundaries here at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground.
Well, on that occasion, it wasn't pitched up. It was short enough for him to transfer the weight onto the back leg and slapped it out towards the squarish boundary. More runs.
And Dupree comes round to Moses, and he's in the act, and this one is a bit full of Moses, not making any contact. There is an appeal, and the umpire now raises the finger.
And Moses is just suggesting that should have been called a wide. Well, that is not his role.
Moses, he is delaying. The umpire is delayed in raising the finger, and we had that discussion earlier. Well, the umpire should raise the finger if he thinks that the edge is taken and the keeper completes the catch. He takes quite some time to raise that finger.
Yes, don't wait for the batsman to walk. Make the decision. Roland Cox has done a marvelous job in putting together what we suggested that he will bring forward, and maybe you can certainly deal with it.
Yes, and we're looking at the wides to date as the over comes to an end, and the new batsman is coming in. Number 27 for the Vieux North Raiders is Richie Roberts. But in match 1 we had 11 wides. In match number 2 we had 13. Match number 3 we had 20. Match number 4 25. And match number 5 26. This is match number 6. So we will look to see what happens after this.
Well,
Match
right
number
up to
5.
date with all the stats, because in the white ball game, in any game, sometimes wides and no balls can determine the actual winner.
Yes, and Langelier will continue. Monchery is replaced by Ryan Langelier to bowl his second over. He's bowled 1 over, none for 12. And he is moving in to bowl to Peter, who's on 10 from 13. Langelier into Peter, a full delivery out towards mid-wicket, and he's timed it very well. It moves really quickly to mid-wicket, and he can't get a single. Dot ball, still 27 required from 35 balls. So the Vieux North team in the driver's seat at the minute.
Yes, they really will have to bat badly not to go off to win. Whoa!
This one is in the air. A fielder settles under the 3 and he drops it again. This looks like Monchery again. That's his second spill in the match. Monchery can't seem to catch a flu here.
Well, I'm not trying to defend him, but that was a skyer. You had 3 men, well, him and 2 others running. And I would think that it was dropping very, very fast. I don't believe he got under it. I don't think he really got close enough.
He didn't get close enough. He really should have moved a lot quicker to get into position and settle on it. But he was never looking like he was catching this one. Was Monchery. And another chance goes begging for the DESRUISSEAUX Invictus. And the Vieux North continue to march on towards a victory. A mere 26 runs required as Langelier comes in. This one cutting back into the Roberts, the new batsman, and he is still yet to score. Is Roberts. The score 43-1. Vieux North Raiders really in the driver's seat here at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground.
A good delivery. Nice seam up delivery that cut back as described.
And Langelier comes in again. This one coming back and just played out towards Quelleg. They come through for 1. They think of the second and they decide against it as the fielder was really quickly onto this one. Just out towards the Square area, they come for a good single taken here, and Richie Roberts, he's off the mark. He's on 1. The score moves on to 44 and brings Peter back on strike. Peter is on 11 from 15, but they're still in total control here as Langelier moves in again to Peter. This one is high up in the air. 2 fielders under it, mid-wicket, and he takes it. It's a good catch, whitish long one. The captain was there as well, Augustine, and the number 18 here is Gavin Mitchell. He took a well-judged catch. This one was high. He had the elevation, but didn't have the distance.
Whoa! Well, you wonder when that will come down. It could probably take a week to come down. But he took it well because he got too far under it. And instead of taking the catch, let's say, outside of the chest, he virtually had to take the catch over his head. So well done. He might have made an initial error, but he adjusted very well. And the fielding side will welcome finally some success, but is it all too late?
It may very well be, as they see Kurt Edward coming in, and Kurt Edward yesterday in the previous game that they won you would have heard of his exploits, hitting a nice little cameo of 16 of the last over, 16 of 6 to win the game for his team yesterday. So Vieux North would be happy to see that Kurt Edward is replacing Junior Peter, and with the kind of innings that he had yesterday, they would be happy to see him. This one is in the air out towards and it's a diving effort here from Mosheri, and they come through for one. They think of the second, and it's they decide against it because Kurt want to keep strike. So Kurt Edward comes in to strike, and the Mosheri, he dived an effort on his end, but couldn't get a hand to it.
Yes, it was in the air, but
There's a reason you get up on a morning. A reason you pick yourself up. Start the day. Maybe it's because you know people like you are waiting for people just like you. For Republic Bank, that reason is you. It's all about making a difference in your life. Because after 182 years, if it's one thing we're sure about, is that the difference is you.
Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
And Kurt Edward, he would have loved some strike, but he didn't get it on this occasion. As the over comes to a close, we'll have a change from the pavilion end, and it looks like number 90, James, Josan James is coming on. Josan James from the pavilion end is coming on, and he'll be bowling to Richie Roberts. So we have had 5 overs completed, and you will be hearing the voice of Ryan O'Brien as James bowls his first delivery outside off stump. It goes through to wicketkeeper Dorillier. Through to wicketkeeper Dorillier, and the score remains on 45 for 2. Richie Roberts, he's on 2 from 4. He's on 2 from 4 balls as Right, James comes in again to Robert in the air, and he's diving here at short mid wicket. It's not making any contact. It goes out towards the boundary. They come through for 1.
yeah, like goalkeeper type effort, but it was away. He made every effort to try and get hands on to it and knocked it up, but in the air for a long while.
It was indeed in the air for a long time, as the Invictus team really can't seem to get many of the chances, whether difficult, whether easy. It's really a challenge for them here today, as James moves in to bowl to Edward, and Edward is guiding this one out towards a whitish third man. It will challenge the boundary. It goes over the boundary. A very good shot from Kurt Edward.
You know, when you see him bat, I think there was some injury to him at some time in his career, but a quality player. I mean, you would have thought that someone like him would have played for St. Lucia for years.
He did play for St. Lucia. I recall he was a good young fast bowler, but he got injured, and I think that's when he really did put in some work on his batting. And with that 4, the 50 came up for the Vieux North Raiders, but Kurt Edward, he really looks the part here. Only 19 runs required now from 27 balls, and if Kurt Edward is there for another 5 or 6 of those balls with the formies in, we should be seeing the end of the match. As Edward again, this time there is an appeal. That ball cuts back into him. He's looking to play it into the onside, comes comes off the outer part of the bat and into the offside.
Yeah, well bowled. Well bowled, because Edwards looking again to play an aggressive shot, and that seemed to have just seemed away from the right-hander.
As James moves in again to Edward, and Edward is pushing this one out to a point. A misfield that they come through for one. They think about the second, but the recovery from the fielder from a short third man, and restricting them to just a single. 18 required now from 25 balls. Richie Roberts, he's on 3 from 5, and Kurt Edward is on 5 from 3 deliveries, as James comes in for what should be his final delivery. A very good ball outside of stump, and Richie Roberts is looking to push this one into the covers, but not making any contact on this occasion. Good ball from Richie Roberts.
Yes, and
There's a reason you get up on a morning. A reason you pick yourself up. Start the day. Maybe it's because you know people like you are waiting for people just like you. For Republic Bank, that reason is you. It's all about making a difference in your life. Because after 182 years, if it's one thing we're sure about, is that the difference is you.
Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
From the beautiful Helen of the West Indies, the Dream 11 St. Lucia T10 Blast comes to the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground for the 3rd edition from May the 6th to May 20th. 30 matches, 14 teams, 15 days of high-energy cricket. Can the Schwazel Colpots retain their title, or will a new champion be crowned? Support your team. See local heroes such as Johnson Charles, the 2-time World Cup winning champion Darren Sammy, and from the Spice Isle, Andre Fletcher. For only $5 and proof of vaccination, you can enter. It's the Dream 11 St. Lucia Blast, 3rd edition, happening at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground from May 6th to May 20th. There's nothing like cricket in the beautiful Isle of St. Lucia.
Moves in, lovely sunshine here at the Boseju, and ball to Kurt Edward, and this one is out towards mid-wicket. He has some protection out there. They come through for just a single. Kurt Edward really didn't get the kind of elevation he was looking for, and basically coming from the inner portion of the bat as well.
And just seeming to be affected by maybe a pull muscle, flexing the left leg. I think initially they were looking for a second, and then he realized that he wasn't in a position to go for it.
Richie Roberts comes into striker, and full delivery cuts him in half. Richie Roberts can't make any contact. A very good bowling here from Stefan Dupre, young Stefan Dupre. He's bringing the goods. He's bowled 1.2 overs, 1 for 9.
Yes, his first over cost 8. So he's trying to make amends, maybe cut that in half, and they really need a couple of dot balls to follow each other.
They would really need to string the dot balls together, as you would have mentioned. Reds and Dupre looking to add one more to his dot ball tally here into Dupre. This one comes off the pads. The keeper, there's a bit of miscommunication. He was running down the track. Kurt Edward was not interested. Miscommunication, but of course, all's well that ends well. They did not come through for the run.
One of Edwards is troubled by that bad leg, because that extra was on.
That extra was certainly on here, and it was Kurt Edwards' call as well. But he continued to shake that leg. He's touching it. Something is amiss with him there, as Dupre comes in and looking to put another dot ball on, and this time straight to mid-wicket again. Edward is looking for that run. Now he has to dive back to make his ground. Good fielding here from the DESRUISSEAUX Invictus team. They're looking to lead their game here.
Yeah, traveling very, very fast to the fieldsman. Edwards was out of the blocks and had to change direction.
And he did so very well in the end. He had to dive back in as well. Dupre stringing together some dot balls as he moves in. He bowled 1.4 overs, 1 for 9. He moves in, and this one is driven out towards Kevin Augustine, who comes off the rope at long on, and not restricting them to that single. Richie Roberts move on by 1-4. The score moves on to 53-2. This time, Richie Roberts getting a good shot in towards Kevin Augustine.
Well, so far so good. Dupre, 10 runs conceded, 1.5 overs.
What should be his last delivery, and he's bowling to Kurt Edward, and Kurt Edward is looking to pull. That ball hit him about the body. He did not make any contact with it, and umpire Morris will signal the leg by. It's a leg by. A good finish from young Richie Roberts. He's bowled 2 overs, 1 for 10.
There's a reason you get up on a morning. A reason you pick yourself up. Start the day. Maybe it's because you know people like you are waiting for people just like you. For Republic Bank, that reason is you. It's all about making a difference in your life. Because after 182 years, if it's one thing we're sure about, is that the difference is you.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
It seemed to be a back of a leg injury, but he's so strong he can stand and deliver.
He certainly can, and he showed that in this edition. He also did in the previous edition of the Dream 11 St. Lucia T10 Blast. He has an opportunity to blast the last 15 runs for his team to win. He has an opportunity to blast himself to another few runs. So it's the captain, Augustine, who's coming in for his last over. He's bowled 1 over for 11 so far. And he will be bowling from the players' pavilion end. And Kurt Edward is in strike now. Augustine to Edward, and Edward is swinging for the hills. It really seems like that leg is troubling Edward, and he's completely lost his shape here.
Well, 16 balls, 15 runs.
And Kurt Edward looking to finish it in a hurry. Kevin Augustine will have different ideas here. As Augustine moves in to Edward, he picks this one up out towards the square leg boundary, over the boundary. It's 6 runs to Kurt Edward. He seemed to be succeeding in finishing it in a hurry.
Yes, he needs to, because, as we pointed out, now we see him try to stretch the hamstring, but it was pitched up outside the leg stump, hit it cleanly. It traveled at a rate too hard to describe. Really reduced it to 9 runs needed now.
And he was really hitting it into the wind as well. So had it been with the wind, it would have been a really huge hit. Kurt Edward, he faces up. He's on 12. He faces up to Augustine. Again, he looks for that big one. It goes through to the keeper, who does not collect cleanly. And Robert calls him through for the bye. Good running again, good aggressive running from the Vieux North Raiders. Good batsmanship being shown here.
Yes, he's lost his strike, Edwards. He was in position maybe to challenge for another man of the match, but he's the non-striker.
He's a non-striker at the moment, and Richie Roberts, he's on strike to Augustine. Augustine bowls a change-up delivery on the line of leg stump, and Robert can't negotiate. It's a third ball as this ball runs through to short fine leg.
Who you consider in man of the match? Rex?
And again, if Edwards was without the problem of the leg, they might have quickly run what would have been a little leg by, but he just couldn't get out of the blocks.
He couldn't, probably wasn't even backing up fine enough either, as Augustine comes in to bowl, and this time he's rushing Richie Roberts. Richie Roberts can't get out of the way, can't even, he was bidding for pace, all ends up.
Yeah, he was trying to play a shot which is hard to describe, short of a length, lifting, and didn't try to push it off the chest, let's say the third man or wide a third man. Didn't handle it very well.
And Kevin Augustine looking to finish well here. 8 runs needed now from 13 balls. Augustine into Roberts, and Roberts find this one out towards long off. They come through for 1. That's all there will be as the fielder comes up the rope, takes it on the bounce and back into the bowler. 1 run, 7 runs needed. Over completed, 62 for 2. 7 runs needed for victory from 12 balls.
There's a reason you get up on a morning. A reason you pick yourself up. Start the day. Maybe it's because you know people like you are waiting for people just like you. For Republic Bank, that reason is you. It's all about making a difference in your life. Because after 182 years, if it's one thing we're sure about, is that the difference is you.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
So it could be tactical that they provided that single to Richie Roberts and allow him to retain strike at the end of the over. And it looks like Neil Mosheri will be the one continuing from the combox in the northern end here at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground with 7 on to get from 12 balls. Can Neil Mosheri take it into the last over?
Well, I know Roberts is not quite fired 5 from 13, but any common sense approach, 7 off 12, you should, it's not a walk in the park, but you should win that quite easily.
It should, with all of 8 wickets in hand, as Mosheri moves in to Roberts. White outside of stump, and he's giving extras, continuing to give some more extras. Is Mosheri extras moves into double figures. Now it's on 10. The score is 63. 6 needed now from still 12 balls.
Well, at this rate, extras might go on to win it.
Extras. They're well ahead now, extras, as Mosheri moves in to Robert. Again, this one is way outside of stump, asking Dorian to earn his keep today. He's been given some serious work behind the stumps. Is Dorian?
I guess we might have a position where the man of the match might be extras.
Extras would have stick their claim to that actual award here, but Mosheri, he'll have to get the radar right if he doesn't want to just finish it off. Still now 5 needed from 12 balls. Mosheri at the top of his mark needs to get it right. He moves in to bowl to Robert. He needs to force Robert to play, and Robert is playing, driving out towards a long off. Fieldsman come off the boundary, and that is number 25 is Constantine, limiting Robert to 1. Is it good to bring?
Not good news. Edwards is back in strike. And this could well finish in the next delivery.
It could finish, but Neil Mosheri would have different ideas as Edward taps away. And Edward, it's high up in the air. Fielder under it. Can he get there? He does get there. And he spills it. He spills it. He got there pretty comfortably in the end. He had it. I guess when he landed, it just came off.
Seemed to have had it, but not long enough. But with all the action, Edwards only took a single, and he's the non-striker.
He took a couple of runs. He's back on strike. So it's 2. He can finish now. It's 2 runs needed from 10 balls. Edward, outer portion of the bat, out towards third man, goes over the boundary now. 4 runs to cut Edward. It's all over, it.
Yes, not the best stroke he has played, because he's been middling most of it, all of it. But on that occasion, took the outside edge, but 4 runs over the rope, and they're marching on.
This is not where he intended, but nevertheless, 4 runs and a victory to the Viewport North Raiders. And Kurt Edward, once he's there, his team, it looks like he and victory are synonymous for Viewport North. Once he's there, Viewport North looks like they will win it. Kurt Edward, he finishes on 18 from 10 balls with 2 4s and a 6. And Richie Roberts was there with 6 from 14. So another victory to the Vieux Fort North Raiders.
Well, I can't say the schedule out of my head, but one will think that Edwards will need as much work done on that leg as may be available in the time between now and the next match. Edwards is very, very key to Vieux Fort North, both with the ball and with the bat, and I think it's important that his fitness, is worked on in between the next match.
Sydney and Vieux Fort North, now they would have made it to the main draw of the competition, would definitely need Kurt Edward in the best form and in best condition that he can be in. So Kurt Edward, again, a little bit of a concern for Vieux Fort North, but they would have taken it again. Another victory to the Vieux Fort North Raiders, getting over the line 71-2 with some 9 balls to spare.
So Babino has got 2 wins and Vieux Fort North has got 2 wins.
So the qualifiers have been determined. It would be Vieux Fort North, the Vieux Fort North Raiders and the Babino Leatherbacks going into the main draw. And the second match is coming on this afternoon. It will be the Dennery segment Rising Stars are taking on the Vieux Fort South Sunrisers.
And playing for pride, baby.
Playing big, purely for pride. So just take a quick look at the Vieux Fort North Raiders batting. Rick Moses, he got 25 from 11. A good knock from Rick Moses, 25 from 11 with 3 4s and 2 6s. He is striking at 227. He was ably assisted by Peter with 11 from 16. The two had a really good partnership. And of course, Richie Roberts came in. He was 6 from 14. And Kurt Edward, in true fashion, finishing it off very, very nicely with 18 from 10 with 2 4s and a 6. And we look at it quickly. The bowling for the Invictus DESRUISSEAUX and Ryan Langelier. 2 overs, 1 wicket, 15 runs with 7 dot balls. Kevin Augustine, the skipper, 2 overs, none for 18 with 8 dot balls. Neil Monchery, 1.3 overs, 1 dot ball. He went for 20 runs. He was expensive today. And Dupre, 2 overs, 1 for 10, 7 dot balls. Good returns from Young and Dupre. James, 1 over, 3 dot balls, 6 runs. So Neil Monchery was very expensive. And on top of that, he put down 2 catches as well. So it didn't really add up or go well for the Invictus team, DESRUISSEAUX. So we have Albert in the field. I'm not sure that Albert is in the field, but coming up we have the Dennery DESRUISSEAUX.
There's a reason you get up on a morning. A reason you pick yourself up. Start the day. Maybe it's because you know people like you are waiting for people just like you. For Republic Bank, that reason is you. It's all about making a difference in your life. Because after 182 years, if it's one thing we're sure about, is that the difference is you.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
From the beautiful Helen of the West Indies, the Dream 11 St. Lucia T10 Blast comes to the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground for the 3rd edition from May the 6th to May 20th. 30 matches, 14 teams, 15 days of high-energy cricket. Can the Choiseul Colpops retain their title, or will a new champion be crowned? Support your team. See local heroes such as Johnson Charles, the 2-time World Cup winning champion Darren Sammy, and from the Spice Isle, Andre Fletcher. For only $5 and proof of vaccination, you can enter. It's the Dream 11 St. Lucia Blast, 3rd edition, happening at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground from May 6th to May 20th. There's nothing like cricket in the beautiful Isle of St. Lucia.
There's a reason you get up on a morning. A reason you pick yourself up. Start the day. Maybe it's because you know people like you are waiting for people just like you. For Republic Bank, that reason is you. It's all about making a difference in your life. Because after 182 years, if it's one thing we're sure about, is that the difference is you.
Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
From the beautiful Helen of the West Indies, the Dream 11 St. Lucia T10 Blast comes to the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground for the 3rd edition from May the 6th to May 20th. 30 matches, 14 teams, 15 days of high-energy cricket. Can the Schwazel Coal Pops retain their title, or will a new champion be crowned? Support your team. See local heroes such as Johnson Charles, the 2-time World Cup winning champion Darren Sammy, and from the Spice Isle, Andre Fletcher. For only $5 and proof of vaccination, you can enter. It's the Dream 11 St. Lucia Blast, 3rd edition happening at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground from May 6th to May 20th. There's nothing like cricket in the beautiful Isle of St. Lucia.
There's a reason you get up on a morning. A reason you pick yourself up. Start the day. Maybe it's because you know people like you are waiting for people just like you. For Republic Bank, that reason is you. It's all about making a difference in your life. Because after 182 years, if it's one thing we're sure about, is that the difference is you.
Republic Bank.